Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
That's right, now that the Snyder Cut has been announced, it is going to be released in 2021. It's time to sit back, relax, and sip on a little bit of that bubbly.
Release the AyerCut!
Nuts.
Or not, I guess we're on to the next hashtag, release the AyerCut.
That's right, a lot of momentum now going towards the AyerCut of Suicide Squad. David Ayer now sees the writing on the wall after seeing the Snyder Cut's announcement and sees the opportunity now for his cut of Suicide Squad to be released on HBO Max as well.
So the question is, what should come first?
The chicken or the egg?
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep on your toes. Toes, that is. The fast ones get right by you. Keep your ears open.
Should we see the AyerCut of Suicide Squad before or after Zack Snyder's Justice League?
So we put a very large poll up on our community page on YouTube. If HBO Max were to release the AyerCut, should it be released before or after Zack Snyder's Justice League? I had before and after, and I started realizing I should have had a third option of who cares. Right now at 234 votes, before has it at 55% and after has it at 45%, if you can do the math on that one. Out of 234 votes, which is not too bad since I just put it up last night. It's had about 16 hours and we're a tiny little shit channel, so that's not too bad. We've talked briefly about this in many other live streams that we've done, some that were received well, some that weren't.
But we won't cross that bridge.
There's some things that I feel that are maybe a little bit misunderstood when it comes to the AyerCut and how David Ayer feels about his cut being released. Let's start off with this. I want to eliminate this as something that is integral to the Zack Snyder Justice League. David Ayer has stated now multiple times that the New God elements were removed from his script on May 10th. In response to questions about the Joker and Steppenwolf, he says, "Not enough for a Joker movie. Yes, parademons, yes, a Steppenwolf reveal at the very end. That got changed in script. Early prep never went to camera."
Quite unfortunate.
Another question asks, does your cut connect Suicide Squad to the invasion of Justice League, or did you end up shooting only the version against the Enchantress creatures? David Ayer says the script did. It was rewritten to remove the New God's elements.
So that eliminates the Steppenwolf parademon aspect to what he was originally wanting. So how much does this really line up with Zack Snyder's Justice League? In another tweet, he says, "We synced up storylines. Squad was on ramp with JL, which was a much more ambitious two-part movie arc with impressive scope. Squad was the appetizer for Zack's epic, best laid plans, as they say." At best, this is kind of loosely tied with Zack Snyder's Justice League. As he puts, it's an appetizer. It's the mozzarella sticks before the steak.
The fried zucchini before your pasta.
Your chips and salsa to your chimichanga.
Or your egg rolls to your orange chicken.
And like in England, whatever that shitty food is they eat over there before their other shitty main meal. So that is a key element I think a lot of people should take in consideration when you think about, should the AyerCut come out before the Snyder Cut? Does it even make sense? Now I could see, yes, it is the appetizer, but do we need this appetizer? Have we already had a big lunch? Especially because Zack Snyder's Justice League might be a little bit different than what was even expected when David Ayer did his Suicide Squad.
I think that's the important element of this that people are probably, especially the ones who voted before, are probably forgetting, is that yes, this is just an appetizer to Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's not completely tied in. In some of the comments that we got, people were talking about in terms of continuity. Well, I'd rather see the AyerCut of Suicide Squad before I watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. But lo and behold, it's not actually tied that directly to Zack Snyder's Justice League as we would have hoped from the beginning.
David Ayer even talks about what was changed from his script too. Again, bringing up these elements that were too dark, or in Snyder's case, too scary. So this seems to be a general consensus within WB at the time that things were just getting too scary.
Another question on Twitter asks, too dark, what else would people expect from the Joker of all people? Mr. Ayer replies, imagine if Todd Phillips' film The Joker was reshot and recut because it was too dark. This is exactly what happened to Suicide Squad. Anyone who says my cut did not work owes me to say it directly to me.
We had a really hard time getting that film made, which seems insane today. Now, seeing how well the movie's done, we spent a year at Warner Brothers, and I saw emails back and forth, literally where they said, does he realize, meaning me, does he realize we sell Joker pajamas at Target? And so
is that true?
It's very what you're saying. Where doesn't the movies come first, the pajamas come second? Like, are the pajamas dictating the movies?
No.
You can't make your decisions based on that, and that was my argument, of course, was we're really going to dictate, movies based on pajamas.
When people start questioning how much is the AyerCut different than Suicide Squad, one person said Justice League had an entire change in director and plot details. Suicide Squad's editor might have changed, but Trailer Park was still working with footage filmed under Ayer's control. And simply, Ayer says,
Wrong!
So that's some of the elements here. What is really the AyerCut? How much different is it from what we saw in theaters? It sounds like it's drastically different, a lot more character oriented. But does it really lead up into Zack Snyder's Justice League? As he said, it's an appetizer. If HBO Max was to announce the AyerCut, should we get it before Zack Snyder's Justice League? Well, Grace Randolph had some issues with this. She's very invested in Zack Snyder's Justice League on her own personal behalf. She feels that it would undermine the struggle that Zack Snyder had and the movement in general to try to bring this to the forefront. Because with David Ayer, one of the biggest problems we personally had is from the beginning, he kept saying it was his cut. And for the longest time, he kept saying it was his cut. It's only somewhat recently has he started saying it wasn't his cut. His cut was drastically different. It was modified. It was changed by the studio. He had somebody over his shoulder the whole time telling him things were too dark or too scary. Grace Randolph actually reacting to David Ayer saying those New God elements were removed from his script says, I was right, the AyerCut does not lead up to Justice League, only the script did.
David Ayer says, Grace, I don't mind if my cut is seen in 5 years. I simply want the best version of my work represented. Zack deserves this wonderful, wonderful opportunity he's been given by at HBO Max and at AT&T. It's all love. So even David Ayer is recognizing and he wants his cut to be seen, but he doesn't mind if it's seen in 5 years. Zack deserves this opportunity that he has been given. He deserves the limelight.
Grace Randolph even said, I'm sure you have the best intentions, David. I just feel it would be a genuine shame if after all Zack went through and all the work he's done to make history like this, he was overshadowed. And again, I want to see your cut too. We all appreciate your passion. David Ayer responded to that pretty simply saying, it will not happen, don't worry. And I think what he means by that is it won't overshadow Zack Snyder's Justice League. So when it comes to the AyerCut coming out before the Snyder Cut, I can see a lot of good reasons for both cases. One, HBO Max, if they feel that they can make a profit off of the AyerCut and the fact that it takes very little work to get it done, they can put it as an HBO Max exclusive, especially when things are struggling right now because of the world and life. This kind of becomes an easy thing to finish and put on HBO Max as an exclusive to draw people to subscriptions. So I can see why they might jump the gun and try to jump the gun, James Gunn.
Sit the fuck down.
I can see why they might want to jump the gun and get this out before 2021. Definitely trying to make it maybe a summer exclusive, but I can also see them wanting to wait. They would probably like to see the response that Zack Snyder's Justice League gets first before they move on with this type of releasing these older, more director-driven cuts. I can see how both options come about. Now, does it really matter which one we get first? Maybe it does to some, because Zack Snyder, in my eyes, has earned this more than David Ayer has, and he also went through a lot more issues with WB than David Ayer did. I do feel like David Ayer should have to wait his turn. I believe that WB and HBO Max, or AT&T in this case, should wait to see how the Zack Snyder's Justice League experiment works.
I agree. I could see AT&T wanting to capitalize on this, and as David Ayer has put out there, it's pretty much done. It just probably needs to be reworked a little bit. So from a business sense, that does make sense to possibly go that route. However, I do agree with Grace Randolph in saying that I feel like if that happens, this will overshadow everything that has gone into the release of Snyder Cut movement and everything that Zack Snyder has gone through. Because at the end of the day, he was wronged way more than David Ayer was. And as Matt mentioned earlier in this episode, David Ayer at one point was saying, no, this is mine, nothing was changed. And we knew from the very beginning Zack Snyder's was. It would be nice to see that come to fruition first. And I know a lot of fans have all the best intentions in the world and really want to move on to the next movement, I think it's important to appreciate this victory. And something for the parents that watch this show, I'm gonna have a little analogy for you. Imagine if you were to give your kid, I don't know, $100 in V-Bucks and they just blow it right away and they are on to the next thing. I don't really want that perception out there that the Snyder fans are doing the same thing. Thank you, sir. May I have another? WB, please give us our very next thing, which is the AyerCut. I think it's important to appreciate this victory, give Zack Snyder what he truly deserves, and then we'll move on to release the AyerCut.
And then after that, what will be next? Kathy Ann responds to David Ayer, talking about how much of his vision was altered by the studio. She says, "I'm so sorry this happened to you, David. I know the pain."
Release the AyerCut! How about new?
So that'll end our little episode on this particular topic. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should the AyerCut come out before the Snyder Cut? Does it really matter? Do you not care? Are you appreciating the victory we have with the Zack Snyder's Justice League? Let us all know in the comments below.
A quick thank you to our Patreon supporters. We greatly appreciate it. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell for all the notifications.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.